Hello and welcome to the Legend of Korra review. This is for Chapter 6, Enemy... Oh, damn it. Battle for Zaofu, sorry. I was looking at my old notes. The Battle for Zaofu. So I'm going to be your co-host, and with me we're going to have two co-hosts this week, for a total of three hosts. So why don't you go... Games, go ahead.
Hey guys, and welcome all, my Korra veterans. Welcome, my Avatar veterans. Welcome.
And then new this week, this is the first time we've had Mike on, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, NW Order for Life here. Happy to be on the show talking about Legend of Korra.
Yeah, so I didn't realize you were caught up with the series this season, so I was glad to have you on. So for the people that have listened or watched these before, we usually kind of meticulously go over every little thing that happens. I'm going to try to change the format up a little bit. I'm going to just do a quick recap, and then we're going to take like the big points of the episode and just kind of talk about them, and then we'll give our review for each of us will give our review for the episode, and then as usual our thoughts of what's going to happen next week, and then we do have some questions from Grayson Young that we'll get to. So I'm just going to go over this recap. It's going to be fast. So the beginning was Sue and her two sons sneaking in. They're going to take out or take care of Kuvira, aka kill her. So they're sneaking in. They get caught. It was a trap. Zuli was in the bed instead of Kuvira. They get captured, and then Kuvira comes over like the intercom, and she announces that the leaders need to come out by dawn the next morning and basically surrender. Except Korra and Opal have different plans. So they go outside. Korra the next day with Opal and Janora and kind of have a little speech. Doesn't go well, so they ended up. Basically, Kuvira puts it all on the line with a one-on-one fight with Korra, and just says, if Korra wins, you can do what you want with the city. If I win, then they have to surrender, and we'll divide up their resources and all that. And so then Kuvira basically kicks Korra's butt for the most part the whole time. Then it kind of cuts into Varric and Bolin. They get forced into working on the spirit weapon, and so Bolin becomes his assistant instead of Zhu Li. There's some funny stuff there we'll talk about later. Then Korra and Kuvira, still basically Korra just got her ass kicked the whole time, and everyone's telling her to go into Avatar State, but she says she's going to do like that as a last resort. So let's see. The next thing was Varric actually takes a spirit weapon and he actually makes a bomb and kind of threatens Batar to basically saying he's going to blow himself up, or Varric himself, as he put it, and so he actually gets them to leave and separate the train, and Bolin and him escape just as the thing explodes. It's like a huge explosion. So the weapon, obviously the second time we've seen it become more of a explosion than anything. And then basically Korra gets beat. She goes into the Avatar State, and she's winning for a split second, and then she sees herself again, freaks out, loses focus, and Kuvira strikes. She pins her in some earth, and she's about to kill her with some freaking awesome bending of metal, and Janora and Opal step in. They create a tornado, and then they call for help, and Milo and Iki come and rescue on the Sky Bison. So, and then it ends with they escape, and then basically Kuvira takes over Zaofu, and the citizens all pretty much give in except for Batar Senior and the artistic son, who I forget his name. So it ends with Kuvira bending like a meteor or something in her hand, like I think Toph did that in the original series, and she hears that Varric killed himself, and she's a little bit upset about it. So that was pretty much the quick recap. Did the best I could. So let's start off. And what do you guys think of the way they had Sue get captured and stuff? That seemed to be a little too obvious, or a little too easy in my mind. So why don't we talk about that part first? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I think it was kind of foolish how Sue just, thought that she and two other guys could sneak into the main camp and take out Kuvira, like Kuvira wasn't expecting it, you know? I mean,
Yeah,
Kuvira was her former, like, lieutenant,
protege.
like her number one soldier. So
Mhm.
Kuvira knew everything about how her rationality was, her reasoning.
Mhm.
She knew exactly that Sue would attempt that. So Sue, poor planning, poor judgment skills shown, and it makes her look like the villain too, because she was trying to assassinate her.
Mhm.
Now that makes Kuvira's position stronger to say to her troops, "Look, I wanted to try to work something out peacefully, but she tried to assassinate me." And
Yeah, it was a bad move.
yeah, it just makes her look like a hero, and it makes Sue look like a villain. So.
I'm thinking that's obviously when they wrote that, that's what they were hoping for. Games, you got anything to add?
Um, yeah, it was kind of like that wasn't really a smart move because honestly, if you are, the son of, or not the son, sorry, the daughter of, freaking Toph, you should be able to use that foot sense and also see who's there,
Yeah.
because Toph uses it that way where she
But
can see who's there.
Toph's senses are heightened because she's blind, so
Well, yeah,
I'll give him that.
yeah, that is true. But it's like still, I mean, if you're able to see within the earth and whatever the earth touches, like you should be able to see that face, whoever's there.
Well, they have very
So
similar structure, I think, but that's interesting. I didn't think about that. What do you think of them not even trying to escape though? Once the trap was sprung, they didn't even
yeah, I thought like that was kind of a silly part too, was the fact that they didn't escape because they did the whole dig into the dirt thing, and
Mhm.
yeah, they couldn't do it again. Like you guys, like, it's like a one-time thing, but
Well, Kuvira's so good, she probably would have been able to.
Maybe it's dangerous to do that, when you're surrounded by earthbenders.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
It's like
I'd
trapped
like.
inside of the earth.
I honestly think Sue would be a better match against Kuvira than Korra, and which would have been interesting to see a little bit of a fight there, but they didn't. And then Opal really wanted Korra just to go wipe him out, like other people I think in last episode said the same thing. They want Korra just to go in the Avatar state and just wipe him out, and she just tried again to settle it with words and to be peaceful. So, like when they went and met Kuvira, it was pretty much at that point, Kuvira she had all cards in her deck. Like there was nothing really anyone could say because Sue tried to assassinate her. I mean, she had the upper hand in everything. She even threw out the old "you're not relevant anymore" to Korra, saying that it was Kuvira who liberated and freed the Earth Kingdom, not Korra, because Korra wasn't anywhere around. And then she basically just dismantled her. Korra just was exuding all this energy, and Kuvira was just dodging and not even doing anything and still winning. So, how'd you guys feel about that part and the fighting? It wasn't the best in my mind. The fight choreography, they were just making Korra just so the aggressor, but with not as much skill. It seemed like she was a lot better of a bender. So obviously there's still issues there with her recovery and being rusty because she hasn't actually done any fighting really in a while. So how'd you guys feel about like the fight scenes and the fact that Korra was so bad?
Well, go for it. Go for it.
Oh, go ahead, man. If you want to start, no problem.
No, go for it.
I think that Korra overall was very disappointing in the episode. Not just the fight scenes, but she's so indecisive.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know what to do. She's very wishy-washy, and how she approaches things. Maybe she should fight. Maybe she should be diplomatic. She's got to pick her stance. Either she's going to be an avatar that demands, how you say it, but demands like people follow her.
Yeah, demands respect from people.
Like demands respect, or she's going to be someone that lets everybody do what they want to do, and she just will only help out in times of major crises or something.
Or
But,
more of a diplomatic approach.
right? You don't get the idea that you don't get the feeling that Korra is, one way or the other. It's like she's pulled apart in all these different ways. She doesn't know what she should do. She doesn't have a firm stance on things, and it really makes me, not invest in her character. And then when you have, the fact that she just came out of an arc where she supposedly got rid of her insecurities and got over all her problems and defeated her fears and got rid of the metal, now she's regressing during this fight. And I really hated that because I thought we were over this. I thought Korra was going to be the Avatar now. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's a good point. They could have maybe come up with a different reason to have her get beat even going into the Avatar state, but
yeah, why not just make Kuvira cheat? She's a villain. Make her cheat. Yeah,
because it feels like they wanted this to be so one-sided so that Korra, maybe this will give some motivation for Korra and for the people watching, for her to really dedicate herself to getting back to what she should be. Maybe this is the low point. We thought she had gotten over it, but maybe now this is the low point, and then now she's gonna have to build herself back up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Games. With
Korra and Kuvira's fight, it's like Korra's using fire, using wind, using earth, and she's using them like an amateur. She's just throwing a punch charged with fire. She's not using it creatively. She's not using it defensively. She's just, and meanwhile, Kuvera's dancing around her. It's like the thing with Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man who can do, 300 different types of kicks, but who can do it, one kick, 300 times, something like that. Whatever the saying was, 1,000 times, 300, whatever it was. And it's just that's the same thing. It's like Kuvera has completely mastered Earth. And she's got confidence. She's got a strong iron will to succeed, and she'll do whatever it takes. And she's got this whole fighting style mastered. So it makes sense why Korra, who is barely doing anything good with what she's got, would lose to her because Korra's got like I said, she's this wishy-washy personality. She doesn't know what she's doing, and the punches and they're just they're just charged with elements and nothing special. So, it's a very disappointing fight for Korra, definitely.
All right, Games, what do you think?
Well, I think that the fight was... I mean, I could understand because Korra was rusty. I mean, why not? But the fact of her, losing it at the last moment where basically she had Kuvira and was literally about to kill. Yeah, Nickelodeon, right? But, it's I don't know, probably something in her head. It really wasn't the poison, but it's something in her head that she just can't let go of the fact that, I think she's really just scared to turn into the Avatar state because it was that at that moment where she did, it was life-threatening, So, that's why I think her body and her mind is, still traumatized to the fact of, of course, she's gonna snap out of it and, also, and just see her face again on every single freaking person. But the fight was actually kind of unfair, I would have to say, for the fact that Kuvira was, she was ready and everything. Korra wasn't really. She was just oh, I'll just see what happens, She really didn't want to. She thought that she was gonna be okay and everything, but she's not because she hasn't been fighting in seriously against other people, and actually winning a lot. She's been doing little matches in the Earth Kingdom matches where they're in that ring, but she loses basically, and it's she's not really, she's rusty, just Kuvira said, because the thing is she really hasn't had time to do anything. Even if she goes to the Avatar stage, she's still getting traumatized. And that's why she said that's a last resort, I would have to say, because she knows something's gonna happen if she goes to the Avatar state. Because I think she knew that, she still has that feeling of still having the whole past be with her, and that moment of her almost dying. So it's I really can't give the fight to anybody at that point because it's I mean, Korra was rusty. Kuvira basically was just oh, use anything. So that was actually kind of a handicap thing, and I hate when people do that.
Mhm.
But you know, it was okay to the fact of at least we know that you know what Kuvira really does with her stuff. So she really uses her metal plates to really like move people away.
Yeah, she wraps it
And
around their arms and legs,
the
and she
thing,
can flip them.
exactly, exactly. And you know, I just really like her form. I like that form that she
Mhm.
has. Every time because there one form like especially when Korra threw the when she kicked up a huge boulder and basically threw it at Kuvira, and then Kuvira just stopped it and did that whole like hand motion backwards, and then just like launched it right back. I love the form in in this episode for the fact of, you know, it really shows that you see how Earthbenders really fight. They're really sturdy and do one hit like wonders basically. So but Kuvira was doing it like to the point where you can do it that fast, and that was really nice that I liked. But at least we know how her fighting style is, basically, because yeah, we saw her like get those bandits, but the bandits really weren't a chance, much of a
Mhm.
fight. So at least we know how her fighting is, and I know Korra is basically gonna know for now on,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
everything's gonna go that way.
Yeah, it's obvious they want to set something up for a rematch, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I will say one thing that I'm not a writer or anything, but I think it would have made a little more sense to have Korra, maybe her conscience, say, "I don't want to kill," and stop her, get out of the Avatar state that way instead of seeing still traumatized. But when someone gets traumatized in real life and stuff, it doesn't go away quickly or easily. So in that sense, it does make sense that she still would be dealing with it, but it was a little disappointing.
If I was writing it, I would have wrote the episode completely different in terms of how Korra fought. I would make Korra be a lot better than what she was. Because think about it, before when Korra was all down and she was in the Earth Kingdom fighting and stuff, she was getting her butt kicked, and the reason was because of the metal. That was what the
Hmm.
writing was. The metal was making her fight badly, and and then we find out it's also psychological. And then Toph should have been the way to remedy Korra of not only the illness inside of her but also mentally, because Toph gave her the whole speech about you can't face the future until you face your past, and she faced her past, right? So
Hmm.
it's been all taken care and done with. So Korra should have been fighting like she used to, really good against Kuvera, giving her a challenge, and then have Kuvera cheat and use some kind of secret weapon, to take Korra out of the Avatar state or bring her down or something. That would make more sense. It wouldn't damage Korra's character, and it would further, show Kuvira to be a good villain.
Yeah,
All these desperate measures.
that's a good point. But it's not what we got. But let's move on to the Varric Bolin Batar on the train with the spirit vines. Basically, Varric kind of, I don't know what the word. He talks his way into having Bolin be his assistant. He obviously has a plan, and they're working on the spirit vines. And Batar wants to learn how, but Varric kind of comes up with a plan. So, Games, why don't you go first on how you felt about everything that went down? And I will throw out one. Let's see. I had a quote written down. Oh, when he came up with Varric, I said it earlier, when he came up with the term Varric himself, like when someone kills himself, it was going to be deemed the term Varric, which
Because he got Julied.
yeah, yeah, he got Julie, he got Varric. I mean, that was the weight ratio in a couple episodes ago was Julie's. It weighs 2 Julies, so it seems to be his thing is to name things after himself or his assistant. So why don't you just go give your thoughts on that whole part and how that worked out with basically he was like a terrorist and said, yeah, we're gonna blow ourselves up unless you leave the train. So
For Allah! No. But the thing is, I very. The thing is, he's smart, but he did like that whole train part was just like he made a timer and then made a remote. And then he explained basically he's just like, well, I was gonna go with the timer, but then I really realized that you guys would force me off of the train, so that's why I built the remote. And then and then he's just like whatever. And then Bolin was just like scared out of his mind because he doesn't want to die.
mhm.
So I can definitely understand from his point. Batard Jr. basically. was just like, well, I guess we have to get up because the thing is, I know Batar did not want to die, so no one wanted to die on that freaking train, but it's just throughout the whole thing, he was just like, do the thing, and Bolin could not. Bolin was just like, what thing? What do you want me to do? It's not hard for Julie. It's just like, but yeah, I mean, I like the whole thing that happened in the train. Varric is really, really smart when it comes to making stuff, and he really did show it because I'm just like, wait, he can't make a bomb. He never made a bomb, and then all of a sudden he's like, I made a bomb. So, because the moment I heard the ticking, I'm just like, wait, that's a timer? And then all of a sudden, yep, it's a bomb. And then I'm just like, oh well, shoot. And it seems like he really destroyed all the stuff, all the equipment there, the spirit vines and everything that they took from Republic City, and basically destroyed them all. And yeah, so. And they also had that little joke between their scientists, like all that stuff, nerds. But yeah, it was really good in the train. Of course, then they escaped before that huge explosion happened, and Vitar was just like, "What the frick?" He actually blew himself up.
And we heard that horn sound again from the explosion.
Yeah, so I guess that it makes a horn sound whenever you explode it. I don't know. It's gonna make a horn sound. So I guess like, that's just what happens. Yeah.
Vaatu, it was the same thing, the same sound from Vaatu from Book 3 or Book 2. I mean, when Vaatu used his beam. So.
Because this isn't like a spirit or normal spirit energy, just dark spirit energy. So it's gonna come from Vaatu. It's really dark. So you can't just expect it to be like some regular spirit energy because this is gonna do some damage. That laser beam that happened like the other episode, that I believe that is still out there. Like it's just going out there in space.
Destroying comets.
Yeah. Yep.
It's obviously a powerful energy source. So, Mike, how did you feel about that whole scene and the whole story, the plot line with them and escaping at the end?
There's two things I like about it and one thing I don't like. The two things I like about it all have to do with Varric. I like how he set up Bolin to be his assistant, because he knew that Bolin would be able to get them out of there. Because he said like, to the soldier, if you're okay with getting your hands blown up, like making Bolin get picked. And then like at the end, he's like, Bolin, you did the thing. And he's like, what? He's like, you saved. So it's like that was his whole plan. And the other thing that I really like is this is character development for Varric, because up until now he's been like this shady guy who does anything for money. But now we see we hear that he saw Vaatu's attack and he was inspired by it to do good. He wanted to use an energy like that to help people and profit off it too. But he wanted to use it for good purposes and. He, got afraid from, Kuvira's tyranny or whatever, and it's just like, oh look, this character has a new level to him, a new layer. Now you can tell he's actually not really, that bad of a guy. He's a good guy, not evil. So I like that. And the only thing I didn't like about the whole segment was how Kuvira's lover, Sue's son, how he supposedly knows how to make the machine now, because I didn't really get Varric teaching him much of anything, but for some reason, I think I can make the machine just like Varric did, so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't show, they just probably just thought it wouldn't add much to the episode to spend time having him, like, it seems to me they were on the train a lot longer probably than what they, showed us, so he may have shown him more, but.
I mean, he was planning on blowing the whole thing up in the first place, so I doubt he would be telling him anything that would make sense.
But Batar did figure out, he's like, isn't that the energy just going to come back in? Like, he did see that.
Kind of, yeah.
So he was smart enough for that. So, the one thing that Bolin's he's still a little too clueless, I think. I wish his character would get a little bit. I mean, it's Bolin, but, he didn't catch on to.
Yeah, let's be honest, he's for comedy, Bolin. Yeah. That's what he is.
But it'd be nice if he, get a little bit better of a character where he could catch on to things a little bit quicker. But and then basically after that, when Korra goes into the Avatar state, we talked about how she saw herself, and kind of freaked out. But the thing that I want to talk about was one, Kuvera looked like she was gonna take her out. She made some blades out of the metal, and I think she was gonna kill Korra, or really injure her. And then Jinora and Oppo, two airbenders, create basically a tornado that was like pushing their army back, which was interesting. And then they call for Milo. Jinora uses her little spirit transfer thing, calls for help, and Milo, they're painting at the time, and they go to rescue him, and Milo had a couple good lines in that, and so that I thought that was great. Milo is just becoming a great character this season, especially liking that, and I do like that the airbenders aren't absolutely worthless here. They actually could hold their own for a little bit, defend Korra until help came.
Two airbenders basically are holding a whole army back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the whole army, only the front line, can engage at a time, so it wouldn't work to defeat the army, but it was good to see them
It was a good, like, distraction,
they had to bring up next, the army. There was no way in there.
So,
I mean, it's just like, that shows you how, airbending is kind of OP, because for the fact that, like, if airbending is, like, let's say, alright, in this world, if we had airbending, you wouldn't be able to see that. Just saying, you would not be able to see air. Which, I'm kind of like, how do they see air? Like, how are they seeing air there? I think the only people who can even feel or see it is airbenders themselves. So I'm just like, how the heck?
Well, you would see a tornado.
Yeah, the dust.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can see the tornado, of course.
Yeah, dust and objects would be involved with the air.
Yeah.
So what did you think? Did you guys think Kuvera was actually going to kill Korra with those blades?
I actually think. Because there's no reason why she would make those blades then. Like, what was the reason? What was the purpose? I mean, unless she's a psychopath and actually skins her alive and does all that garbage. But it's like, for real, like, she was going to kill her. And that's why it's like, kind of... And the thing is, I could understand why Jinora and Opal kind of saved her, because they weren't expecting her to, like, kill. They were just, like, expecting, like, a match where if the other one's down, then, that's it. Yeah. They basically lose. But
to the death.
Yeah, Kuvera was like, she's gonna kill her. Same way, but the thing is, I would say it would be like the way of Korra. Korra was just about to kill her. But, of course, then she had her whole psycho problem. But then, it's just... the whole point of airbending is like, oh my god, it's just OP. You can fly, you can like freaking control tornadoes, you can suck the air out of people's lungs. It's just like
spiritual. It's connected to the spiritual realm.
Oh, exactly. If you're an airbender, you're more connected to the spirits than any other nation in the world, and it's crazy. Airbenders are OP, man. OP.
All right. Let's move on to to them, Milo, and I know you wanted to say something about that part, Games.
Yeah. All right. Milo is the best character this season. I have to say, because can you get enough Milo? Can you get enough? Just say, can you? Because
you can't handle all this Milo.
You just can't handle it. I freaking love Milo. That part just made me laugh so much. He's just like, he's going around he didn't destroy them, but like he's pushing back the mechs, going all like, "Ooh, you can't handle this, Milo, man."
I love the picture that he drew was hilarious.
I'm just like, Milo, what the freaking?
Yeah, I thought Games was gonna use that as his icon, so I didn't.
But then I have to use the last minute resort. It was like Opal. That's in my mind.
We end up using the same character again for like the third time we've done this. But yeah, that was good. How do you? I'm gonna just ask this question that somebody asked. Besides Milo, who do you like for comic relief?
I would say that.
Milo, I think Barrick used to be the go-to funny guy, Bolin, but I just think Milo's just so far beyond anyone else. Really, no one else even comes close in my mind.
Yeah.
You guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I agree. Milo is hilarious.
Milo is
He's just this little kid that like has so many different aspects to his personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Grayson Young. I mean, Varric and Julie have some funny stuff too, but Milo is just he's just so good. I wouldn't. I think he is.
Speaking of Varric and Julie, you think Julie is going to betray?
All right, we'll talk about that at the end when we give our thoughts on what maybe is going to happen from next episode. So let's just wrap up the recap, then we'll give our reviews, our grading for the episode. So the kids came, they helped, they took Korra, Opal, and Janera, whatever. For some reason,
Janora.
Jesus. They rescued them and left Sue and the two brothers behind, and then basically the citizens bend their knee and they what do they call? All hail the Great Divider. Yeah, that's what they said. The Great Uniter. Not God, man, I can't speak all of a sudden.
The Great Divider. What the heck?
Great Uniter. And except for Batar Senior and the artistic son, don't know his name. So basically, the citizens, no one put up a fight, and there was a little scene where Batar Senior's like, I'm so disappointed. And like every time he speaks and Batar speaks, I feel it's just some of the worst writing on the whole show. But and then basically they're gonna dismantle the walls or the domes, and
just one thing.
Yeah.
Batar, I think if he was gonna be reincarnated to an animal, it would be a dog, because he likes to growl out.
Yeah, he does.
Like, okay, I understand you're angry, but so are you part dog? I mean, I don't know, but
he's an angry dude. I don't know why, but he's just angry.
He's just an angry, spoiled rich kid. That's what he is, because he was living the life. You're basically with a family that you can live with, and actually, have food, have all this stuff. You're in a good neighborhood, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're just like acting like a spoiled little brat, acting like just because you didn't get one thing, and now you're gonna go join Kuvira, basically. But I actually think Kuvira seduced him in a way.
Do you think she's telling him they're gonna wait till they get married for any activities?
Because I think so.
I think so. I think she's pulling him along. I don't think she's genuinely into him. So anyway, let's wrap up. Let's just give your grade and your the thing you like the most, maybe the thing you like the least, and then you go first, and then Mike, and then I'll go last.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give this a solid A- for the fact of I like that they showed more forms of earthbending, and the fight was actually not that bad, and it had some good things with Varric actually, being a really, really, really smart person, and I really gotta say it was not that bad of an episode. It really shows a lot of Kuvira. Basically, she will kill in order to get her stuff done, just like Zahir, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I could put it where, yeah, it was actually really good, and I can't wait for the next one, of course.
Okay. And Mike, how'd you feel about it? Give it a grade and give us your highlight.
How I felt about it was I was disappointed by several things. Disappointed by Korra's regression. Disappointed by Sue's, she was just way too impatient and, was not strategic at all in how she planned that attack. And I would say my highlights of the episode are definitely Warwick and Bolin in the whole train, and also Milo with his comedy, because he's just hilarious and he's really fun. So I would say out of a 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7.
So
there was another real highlight of the episode for me is Kuvira, because she is just such a great villain because of how she manipulates her forces.
Mm-hmm.
She understands the importance of morale. So she tries to build up the morale of her troops, and she tries to make herself look like the good guy, and she expertly manipulates even her enemies into helping her look good.
Exactly.
And you know, and the show shows us that she's a blatant liar. She lied about Bolin still being in her service. So it's clear cut that she's a villain, but she's a very complex villain, and she knows how to work her enemies and her followers. And I think she's a great character. So, and shows that she's a really good fighter. That she was able to, you know, pretty much wipe the floor with Korra.
Yeah.
So I would say based on Kuvira, Milo, you know, with the fun and also work, and I would say the episode gets an 8 for me then, because the Kuvira pushes it up for me.
So would you put that as a B, B plus, B minus? Because we usually do grades later.
Let's say a 10 is A plus, so we'll give it a B plus.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, 10 is an A, 9 is an A minus, so 8 will be a B plus.
All right, I'm gonna give it a B plus as well. I also didn't like Korra being so weak, but I think I think the following episodes are really gonna build her up, and the rematch should be epic, hopefully. But this episode just flowed really well. They only had a couple storylines they focused on, and it was very focused. And I thought it flowed really well from beginning to end. It was just like all the episodes goes by fast, but this one seemed to everything just worked well together. I didn't think there was any really bad parts. And I'm excited to see more. And I was wrong. I thought this would be a 2-part episode, like a big epic battle. We didn't get that, but I kind of liked the way they did it. And you know, just overall, I felt good about it, but it wasn't as good as the last 2 episodes for me. So I give it a B plus. So now we're just gonna get on to some questions, answer those up, and then we'll wrap this up. So Anderson Archilla, couldn't have Korra have tried to metal bend Kuvira's armor and try to restrain her or something? That's a good question, because Korra was metal bending in book 3. He said Kuvira could have resisted, but Korra didn't even seem to try, sticking with the most basics of bending. That's a good point. None of us seem to have. I kind of forgot that Korra could metal bend, to tell you the truth. So, Mike, what do you think? You know, obviously I think they have something in mind for the next. Like, they set this up just for her to get demolished, I think so. But obviously Korra could metal bend. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, I don't think she, you know, relied on it because she's not really good at it. You know,
that's true.
She has to concentrate and really like move around to metal bend, whereas like, you know, for Kuvira it's natural, you know, part of her body. So I think it makes sense for Korra to try to stick with the elements that she supposedly has mastered, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. I'm glad I asked you that. And Blue Dog said bloodbending was pretty overpowered. I think he's commenting on games saying airbending's overpowered, but bloodbending.
No, but the thing is though, they had that kind of, like, there was only 2 people that could do that special bloodbending, and of course that was freaking Amon and whatever his name was, I forgot. But you know,
was it Tarlok or
Tarlok?
Tara can bloodbend, can't she?
No. Oh well, she can, but it's like you need to have the thing for that is you need to have the full moon out in order to do it.
Right.
Like, they did it because they were trained by their father that could do it instantly and out of nowhere. But the thing is, it's natural only to have it during the moon, which is basically every single waterbender. So that's why I say airbending is kind of cheap for the fact, and OP for the fact of, like, because they can do it whenever they feel like. It's airbending. They could just swipe you. They could literally cut your head off with air. That's how bad it is, you know?
You've only seen Zahir do it though, so it's kind of, you know, you could assume that maybe the reason why Zahir was able to do it was because he was a scholar of the Air Temple and all of their ways.
Yeah, I mean the wingsuits they can fly, but I don't think anyone else is going to walk on air like.
Unless they get rid of unless they enter the void.
All right, so Grayson Young asked, "What Korra character do you think you're most like?" He feels he's most like Kuvira because of her ambition. I'll go first. I think I answered this before. I said Bolin, but I'm not such a douche, but I do have some similarities with Bolin. He's not the kind of guy to he's like a no nonsense like logical thinker, and I think he's not like the smartest dude, but he usually worries about logical things instead of just using his emotions that control him. So in that way, I feel I'm like him the most out of these characters. I mean, I'm not a lot like him, but if I had to pick one, Mike, why don't you want? Go ahead.
I'd say personality-wise, I'm probably the most like Mako. Probably.
Okay.
Ah, so you're a guy who holds on an ability for 2 seasons. Hmm.
Yeah, you keep your lightning bending secret until the last episode. Or not secret, but he just never used it against that waterbender.
Yeah. I'm just like, dude, just do it. She has 2 hands of water which is connected to her body. Just do it. It's like, what is wrong with that? But okay.
I know. I'm gonna answer. You're most like Milo, I think. Games.
I freaking love Milo. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Milo. I just like Milo because he's just funny as frick. I just, oh my god. And also, you know, the way he acts is also really nice, and I could really relate to that. But yeah, I freaking heck yeah, Milo.
And Andrew, our blue dog, said he in his mind, whenever a hero goes against the bad guy early, like in a story, they always get their butts kicked. So
yeah,
it's
always that's always kind of a thing with these kind of stories. Is like they always have it where the hero always gets butt kicked and everything. And sometimes I hate it when they always get saved by, you know, background characters and also, you know, just the other characters that are part of the story, right? Because then they don't look as tough, you know? It's like every hero always needs some kind of help, and, you know, you could be the avatar, master of all 4 elements, and yet you still need help. You know, and then the freaking villain doesn't need help whatsoever, and just it kills you automatically. And that's what I kind of hate with some sub-stories, because I just hate the fact that they always make the hero look weak, and they don't really give him that time. And it's just like, if they're in a life-threatening situation where like they're right about to die at that moment, but then their friend saves them, I'm just like, dude, what the heck, you know? It's just like, why the hero is basically dead at that point. Why do you have to go save him? He's dead. But I understand it's because of the fact that, you know, they have to keep the story going. I get that, because of course the hero is the main character. So I could get that, but it's just like I kind of hate that in stories sometimes where they just make the hero look so bad, and it's just like, come on. But in any case, we know that in the next fight it's going to be better because Korra's actually gonna get her act together and get that whole vision thing sorted out. So I'm not gonna have any problem with that at that point. But I just hate when they do that.
All right,
I just hate it.
We got it.
Yeah.
So one more question, then we're gonna give our predictions for next episode. I'm gonna ask Mike this: do you think that the spirit weapon will be used against Korra? And Grayson Young's predicting that it could reconnect her with her past lives since it's like spirit energy. What do you think about that?
That's a good plot device to get her back into the, you know, to get the Avatar cycle back on track. So I like that. You know, it makes sense. I'm gonna say, you know, my prediction is either the spirit device is going to like go haywire and like, you know, like do a lot of damage because what's his name doesn't know how to do it properly, or the spirit device, like Grayson Young said, will hit Korra, but instead of hurting Korra, it will, you know, help her reconnect with the past avatars or something. I like that. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Cool idea.
I'm gonna have to not say that because remember, again, this is dark. This came from Vaatu, not from Rama.
You can't have light without dark. Like they have to coexist. And right now,
no, but like that's the thing though. It's inside Korra right now. That you know how it works with Rava and Vaatu is the fact of when one of them perishes, the other one, basically the one who perishes, live inside the one who wins. So even if Vaatu is defeated, like he was in season 2, he lives inside Korra right now because freaking Rava's with her. So right now it's living within her. So that's why it's there could never be light. There never could be too much light or too much darkness. But the other one is always going to exist no matter what. So that's just a fact that like it wouldn't really work with dark spirit energy and it wouldn't really work with spirit energy at all because if you notice she went to the spirit world. She went to basically the best place you could ever do it, which was the Tree of Time, and yet she didn't get anything.
Well, that was before she got all the poison out, so maybe she's just completely separated from her spiritual self, and maybe that will help her get some spirit energy back in. So anyway, let's go over what you think's going to happen in just the next episode. Now that they've kind of wrapped up the Zaofu storyline a little bit. So what do you guys think's going to happen in the next episode? What do you think they're going to focus on? I'll go to Mike first.
We're going to show Bolin and Varric basically trying to get back to, civilization, or where Korra is, whatever. We'll see Korra is all depressed because she got her butt kicked. We'll probably go back to Tenzin, and Tenzin will be counseling her on what she should do. And basically just more of Kuvira like plotting to strengthen her empire and to make preparations to get the ball rolling for like future invasions, with the whole machine and everything like that. Now, I don't really see much else that would go on. Comedy with Milo and that's pretty much it.
All right. What do you think, Games?
Actually, just like you said, I think she will go back to Tenzin, and get some guidance there, and actually know what to do at that point. And the thing is, I believe that Bolin and Varric will be going to Republic City, so that way Varric can tell about the weapon, and then Bolin can basically. I think Bolin will basically give away the stuff that they do, because he basically heard those things. So that would happen, and Korra and everybody would find out, and then basically I think what would happen is, I'm kind of seeing this, where at least 2 of the 4 nations, or at least not counting the Earth Kingdom, at least 2 of the 3 nations are going to fight back. It's going to be like a war, basically.
You think that's going to happen next episode, or
yeah, I'm kind of seeing that because. Once Varric tells them that Kuvira is trying to build some super weapon. Of course, they don't know what nuclear means right now, but the thing is they're building that kind of nuclear weapon. Then they're gonna do something about it because they know that probably Kuvira is gonna come after Republic City because that's Earth Kingdom territory. Remember that. So I'm thinking that's what's gonna happen, and Korra and because if you see Korra's actually in the trailer, she's fighting in the city. But why? Think about it, right? Why is she fighting in the city unless Kuvira is there and with her army and stuff?
I mean, it makes sense for Kuvira to go after Republic City, like you said.
Because that is,
yeah, she's gonna go after everyone eventually. She's power hungry, She's not gonna stick with just the Earth King. No way.
I think
so. Yeah.
The Republic City stuff from the trailer, I think, is gonna be the finale. But anyway, I'm gonna give my thoughts. I'm gonna touch on something you guys didn't. I think Lin Beifong, her sister's now captured. She's gonna find out where Toph is, and I think there's gonna be something where Lin wants to go right away, because she's bullheaded. She's gonna want to go save her sister. So I think that's gonna be in the next episode. I don't agree that Varric and Bolin are gonna get to Republic City for at least 2 episodes. I think they're going to be journeying together, off the grid, trying to get back without, being seen. I'm sure they're going to be fugitives. So maybe there's going to be a couple episodes worth of them kind of trying to get back to Republic City, just those 2, and kind of bonding and stuff. And then we'll see Baatar and Julie with his new assistant, Julie, trying to recreate the spirit weapon, and I think maybe we'll see a reunion, like you said, with Tenzin. I'm pretty sure Tenzin and Korra will be reunited in the next episode, and maybe Asami and Mako will come back into the picture, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I just wish we could get more episodes at a time. That would just be awesome. But
I know. I wish they could do it like they did with the third season. I wish.
So again, on the subject of Julie, what do you guys think? You think eventually she's gonna betray Kuvera? Or
yeah, I think it's like Varric. She's sneaky like that, and she saved her ass. But I bet she's going to help the cause. Like she's gonna. Obviously, she has no loyalty. In my mind, she has no loyalty to Kuvira.
yeah,
I can
she, like stumbled and like was blushing when what's his name when
Varric.
When Varric caught her.
Yeah. Yeah, she likes him for sure.
I think so.
And I can clearly see that she's acting it. Like that's the thing I can see is that she clearly is acting it. The moment that Kuvira told her would you like to assist him in making the weapon, I could sense something about like yes, great United, like something like that. And when she was clapping, remember, she was like yeah, whatever.
Barely clapping.
Yeah, so I think right there, that basically just shows that she's basically just playing for now, and in some way she's gonna sabotage the weapon that they're making. So Julie is basically undercover agent of freaking Varric Industries. So
yeah, that's good stuff. So we're 6 episodes down. I still haven't heard or seen how many episodes are gonna be. I'm sure there's somewhere it says it. I have a feeling we're getting close to the halfway point, but maybe we should look that up after this and figure out where the halfway point is, and maybe do like a halfway through like special episode, get a few more guests on here. But yeah, this was it was a good episode. I think we all agreed, and good discussion. So we're gonna end this. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Grayson Young for the questions again. Very passionate Korra fan, and also video gaming, so appreciate that. Andrew as well, and Anderson Archilla, thanks for the questions. So this has been the review for Chapter 6, the Battle of Zaofu from the Legend of Korra Book 4, entitled, I believe it's Balance. Yeah. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week around the same time on Games Rosa's channel. We alternate every week, so. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.